In the world of House of M, every nation bows to Magneto's empire, except one. Wakanda stands alone, ruled by a king who refuses to kneel. This is the story of Black Panther, the only leader bold enough to challenge a mutant world. In Black Panther issue 7, the tie-in issue for the House of M crossover event, the king of Wakanda battles against Sabretooth and the immortal Apocalypse. Across the open plains of Savo West, Kenya, the day begins in silence. Sunlight washes over the empty horizon, untouched by conflict, untouched by the noise of the world. The land breathes in calm stillness until the calm is shattered by a streak of motion tearing across the savannah. A blur of silver races through grasslands. Quicksilver, moving with desperate urgency, leaving the world stretched behind him as he cuts through the rising heat. Far ahead, hidden between stone cliffs, sits a secluded Wakandan outpost, a structure half carved into mountain, half grown from vibranium-shaped technology. It gleams in the morning light, like a fortified sanctuary. Two figures walk at its entrance, silhouettes framed by stone walls and metal. Pietro's arrival hits the Wakandan compound like a gust of wind, scattering dust, and leaves behind him as he skids to a stop. In one fluid motion, he presses the door chime, impatience radiating from every movement. The silence that follows lasts only seconds, and then the world seems to shift. Light pours through the trees as Aurora descends from above, drifting like a goddess carried by the wind. Sunbeams wrap around her, leaves dance at her feet, and the air itself bends in quiet reverence. Pietro looks up, struck speechless, overwhelmed by the sight of her standing in full grace and power. She steps forward, serene yet warm, the breeze lifting her hair as she approaches him with curiosity. Pietro struggles to find words, but his awe speaks louder than anything he could say. He holds a small box close to his chest, a gift brought from far across the world. A simple piece of Italy carried at impossible speed to the one person he couldn't stop thinking about. As Aurora walks beside him through the gardens, her smile softens. Pietro presents the gift like a secret treasure, hoping it might bring her even a fraction of the joy she brings him. Aurora listens as Pietro speaks with that familiar mixture of pride and vulnerability, trying to impress her with a small detail that the ice cream came from Tuscany. Her smile softens again, but this time the warmth slips into something heavier. She admires his kindness, his effort, his devotion, yet all of it presses against a boundary she cannot let him cross. She tells him gently that his constant gifts make her feel guilty, as though she cannot return what he clearly wants. Pietro brushes that aside and begs her not to feel guilty, urging her to just give him a chance. But Aurora's expression hardens. She stops walking, and the light around them seems to dim. She confesses a truth that has lingered too long. She hates the way he throws his heart against the wall, over and over. She hates seeing him pour love into someone who cannot give it back. Someone who, in her eyes, does not deserve the devotion Pietro keeps offering. Pietro tries to defend himself, passion rising in him like a storm wind. He insists that no one could ever love her the way he does, pouring out the words he has held inside for too long. But Aurora raises her hand, stopping him in his tracks. Her voice is steady, pained but resolute. She tries to explain that this isn't about judgment or comparison. It's about truth, and about the heart she cannot give him. The realization finally hits him. The softness in her eyes is an invitation. It's a farewell. Aurora apologizes, deeply, sincerely, but the apology lands like a blow. Pietro's shoulders drop as the wind shifts. Leaves swirl through the garden as silence fills the space between them. He stands alone while she walks away, her silhouette fading into the golden-green light of the Wakandan dome. The leaves settle, the air grows still, and Pietro is left staring at the empty path where hope used to be. Genosha rises beneath a copper-gold sky, its skyline shaped by Magneto's power and authority. Floating platforms glide effortlessly between towers, and at the center of it all stands a palace, a colossal monument carved into the shape of strength and legacy. Pietro sits in front of his father, expressing his disappointment of being rejected by Aurora. Magneto stands in the shadows of his grand architecture, speaking with that cold confidence he carries like armor. Pietro answers him sharply, refusing to let his father's arrogance go unchallenged. He reminds Magneto that he grew up without seeing any healthy model love, And that seduction comes easy when the entire world already kneels for you. His resentment hangs heavy in the air. Magneto folds his hands around a glowing sphere of light, a reminder of the control he wields over everything from metal to his children's destinies. He acknowledges Pietro's bitterness, but he makes it clear that the matter isn't about romance anymore. Pietro's failure to win Aurora's heart is not just a personal wound. It is a political complication. Magneto's eyes narrow, sharp with calculation. He warns his son that Aurora's influence stretches far beyond Pietro's broken pride. She is a symbol, a presence, a potential threat to alliances Magneto needs intact. And then he asks a single question that turns the moment colder. Did Pietro see her on television yesterday? The implication lands heavier than any scolding. Something is shifting in the world, and Aurora is at the center of it. The glow of a massive panoramic screen casting shifting colors across his face. A world newscast unfolds in front of him, a blunt reminder of everything he feels slipping out of his grasp. The broadcast shows a bleak image of old Africa, ravaged by starvation, conflict, and neglect. It's the version the world once accepted as normal. The feed shifts sharply to a new Africa, lush fields, stable cities, thriving communities. Under mutant governance, the continent is rising from centuries of abuse. Literacy rates climb, unemployment drops, and borders once torn by war now find peace. And at the heart of this transformation stands one woman, Aurora of Kenya. Pietro leans forward when she appears on screen, radiant even through pixels. The show's host welcomes her to the studio with cheerful applause, praising her leadership in the continent's rebirth. Pietro's face tightens. Admiration and longing mix uneasily in his expression. The interviewer poses the inevitable question. Is Africa the clearest proof that mutant rule has improved the world? Aurora answers with calm strength. She describes the injustices Africa endured, colonization, exploitation, apartheid, and how global powers allowed those horrors to persist. Her words carried weight of history, but also a sharp conviction. She credits Magneto for establishing leaders who genuinely care about the continent's people. Pietro hears the praise directed at his father, each word feeling like a blade twisting deeper. Aurora finishes by clarifying that being a mutant is not a moral crown. It is a fact of nature, not a virtue or a vice. Evolution, not superiority. Her composure is flawless, her presence undeniable. And for Pietro, watching from the shadows of a kingdom, the message is clear. Aurora is more than a queen. She is a force shaping the world far beyond his reach. The interview continues on screen, but the atmosphere inside Magneto's private chamber shifts sharply. What begins as a harmless clarification by the host turns acidic when Magneto steps into conversation. Pietro stiffens the second he hears his father's voice behind him. Magneto dismisses Aurora's nuanced explanation with the ease of a man who has never been challenged in his own home. Aurora pivots instantly into political theory, lecturing the room about historical ideologies and the false promises once made about eradicating racism. For Aurora, prejudice is a structured reality, and one he believes mutants have handled better than humans ever could. The interviewer takes a sharp turn when the topic of human beauty standards enters the discussion. Aurora tries to keep it factual, but Allison demands clarification. So Aurora explains that despite mutant rule, the world still prefers its ideal of a white human face on camera. Quicksilver quickly states that Aurora makes a good point. Magneto lashes out without warning. With a flick of his hand, the enormous monitor explodes into shards of floating metal and glass. Pietro remains seated, silently absorbing the anger that was never truly about him. Magneto begins to pace. He berates his son for agreeing with Aurora, accusing him of failing to appreciate the strategic choices that allowed Africa to thrive under his governance. He takes credit unapologetically, revealing that he kept the human king in place not out of compassion, but because removing him would have created political chaos he didn't feel like managing. The truth bleeds through his tone now, resentment, jealousy, and the sting of losing control over a narrative he thought he had shaped alone. Pietro watches as his father admits what he'd been dancing around. Aurora's loyalty lies partly with that human king, and that bond has made her less predictable, less pliable, less his. And then Magneto's voice hardens. He blames Pietro for failing to separate the two. He claims their romance has influenced Ororo's stance in public, threatening the image he wants her to project. The room trembles as Magneto vows to handle things himself. If Pietro can't break the bond tying Ororo to the human ruler of Kenya, Magneto will step in decisively, ruthlessly his way. The mask drops completely. This is no debate about politics or prejudice anymore. This is a father declaring war on the one thing his son loves most. Night settles over Wakanda like a velvet curtain, the sky glowing in deep purples as the palace rests atop the hills, like a watchful sentinel. Inside the stone corridors, T'Challa walks through torchlight that flickers against ancient walls. The air buzzes gently with the hum of holographic communications. Then she appears, Ororo, shimmering in emerald light, her expression sharp and guarded. She speaks first, reminding him immediately that he is not her husband. Not in this world, not in this reality reshaped by Wanda. T'Challa remains calm, collected, the strategist rather than the lover. He explains that even if he wanted to stop her, he couldn't. A war with Magneto is inevitable. He warns, but it must be delayed. For now, their battlefield is the stock market, not the skies. She challenges him, teasing the title-reluctant warrior. He answers with quiet certainty. Once the war begins, the scale will be global. Wakanda will win, but countless innocents will die. It's not fear holding him back. It's wisdom. Her projection sharpens, her voice taking on that familiar mix of strength and irritation. She accuses him of being too charming for his own good, of having admirers scattered across the world. She throws out names, Monica Lynn or Shauna the She-Devil, testing him, taunting him. T'Challa doesn't rise to the bait. He calls her by name, the only name that matters. He steps closer to the shimmering light, his mask reflecting green as he lowers his voice. There's only one woman he cares about, he tells her. When she flies naked inside a thundercloud, does she ever think of him? Her face softens for a heartbeat, then hardens again. She shuts down the moment before it can grow into something dangerous. "Good night, T'Challa," she says, and her image dissolves into fading light. He stands alone in the dark chamber, the glow of her presence fading from his mask. The warrior king left staring at a ghost of the woman he once loved. T'Challa lounges on a stone throne, carved in the likeness of ancient Wakandan kings. Shadows pooling around him like loyal panthers at his feet. The room glows with a dim, reddish firelight, the hologram of Ororo fading into silence. He mutters to himself with a dry, amused tone, comparing the chaos she causes his mind to an American song. The chamber shifts from quiet humor to sudden tension. A presence lurks in the shadows. Heavy boots scrape against the floor. A man steps out. It's revealed to be Sabretooth. He's not just an assassin sent by Magneto. He's something cruder, angrier, a man driven by wounded pride rather than strategy. Sabretooth pulls his gun, his hand determined. Beads of sweat roll down his temple. But before his finger even finishes to squeeze the trigger, T'Challa has already made his move. A single red line cuts across the room, hitting its target. Clean, precise, effortless. The beam cuts through Sabretooth as if his body was made of butter. The intruder stumbles mid-step, shock freezing his features as the impact hits him. His voice cracks as blood spreads across his chest. He collapses to the floor, disbelief flooding his face. He wasn't prepared for how calm, how efficient, how utterly unshaken Wakanda's king can be. He groans out his astonishment, unable to fathom how quickly the tables turned. T'Challa steps forward with that quiet, lethal confidence that only comes from years of perfecting both diplomacy and violence. He reminds the man of something obvious. He never misses. Two Wakandan Panthers move behind him, silent as the dark, circling the wounded intruder. The chamber returns to stillness, but the threat in the air stays, lingering like smoke before the next. T'Challa inspects a fallen intruder with a calm, clinical detachment, as if analyzing a puzzle rather than a man who just tried to kill him. He muses aloud that he could have been a diplomat, someone who handled delicate negotiations from the shadows. But this job isn't diplomacy, and a man who calls himself Sabretooth is not the kind of envoy anyone sends for peace. Without hesitation, T'Challa fires again, clean, controlled bursts that explode with bright muzzle flashes against the stone walls. Sabretooth quickly moves out of the way. He escapes to the ceilings, moving from spot to other, making sure his sticks to the shadows. Sabretooth tries to speak through the blood, choking his throat. He gasps out that the message is not for Chal at all, but for Aurora, but it requires Chal's head. Without warning, Sabretooth dives down from the ceiling, aiming towards Black Panther. But Black Panther was able to counter Sabretooth's attack, punching him in the gut. He slams Sabretooth to the ground against the stone tiles, bones cracking on impact. Without mercy, Black Panther grabs Sabretooth's head and slams it against the ground multiple times. For a moment, the mercenary lies motionless in a spreading pool of blood. His body looks broken, almost corpse still. Chalice stands over him, breathing steady, assessing whether the threat is finally ended. But Sabretooth is never truly down. Sabretooth swings his arm towards Black Panther, scratching at his torso. His face lifts, and the grotesque grin that spreads across it is pure nightmare. Flesh knits itself back together. Bones realign. His healing factor drags him back from the edge of death, leaving him half-scarred, half-feral, and fully murderous. He rises, laughing through cracked teeth, taunting his own damaged brain like it a minor inconvenience. He flexes blood-slicked claws, promising that he only needs a second to recover, and in that second, he plans to tear Chala apart. Chala moves first, a blur of precision and fury, kicking Sabretooth in the gut hard enough to rattle his bones. The impact twists the mercenary sideways, spitting blood as he stumbles. Panther doesn't pause. Panther circles behind him with measured calm, ramming his elbow into Sabretooth's back. The sound of cracking bones echo in the chamber. With Sabretooth down again, Black Panther grabs a sword that was on display in the throne room. He holds the sword steady as he watches Sabretooth slowly rise to his feet. Sabretooth struggles to stand as he leans against the wall. He says out loud, "Where were we?" showing that he was ready for another round. But Panther doesn't give him that chance. He lunges forward, and with one powerful swing, he cuts off Sabretooth's head clean from his body. Days later, Magneto and Quicksilver receive the box containing the head of Sabretooth. Magneto asks Quicksilver when did the box arrive. The two stand in the palace kitchen, the quiet hum of lights filling the space as tension builds. Pietro explains that the Panther must have activated the transporter device they'd once given Sabretooth, a one-way channel, a perfect courier, a way to return something directly to Juno. Magneto glances at the empty countertop, understanding immediately that no body was returned, no corpse teleported home, only a box, only a message, a declaration of intent delivered with ruthless simplicity. The room darkens around him as he turns toward the window, half his face swallowed in shadow. His one visible eye burns cold, calculating the consequences of a murder mercenary, and a king bold enough to send back nothing but a warning. War is no longer theoretical. The conflict with Wakanda just became personal. Deep beneath Wakanda, the chamber lights flicker across the holographic forms of monarchs summoned from across the world. Their silhouettes glow in colors reflecting their kingdoms, but the tension hanging between them is the same. Magneto's retaliation is now inevitable. Black Panther stands at the center, calm but unwavering, outlining what everyone already feared. Magneto made a promise once: no invasions of sovereign mutant monarchies. That promise is now broken. Wakanda will be the first target, and when it falls, the rest will follow. The question before the council is simple only in words: stand united or be eliminated one by one. Doom's hologram flares green as he counters sharply. He refuses to risk Latveria's strength on some vague notion of racial unity. To him, allegiance must be earned, not demanded. For Doom, standing alone is not a threat. It is tradition. Storm responds, trying to appeal to logic, reminding Doom that he and Chala share more in common than pride allows either of them to admit. But Doom will not bend, declaring that he bows to no one, mutant, human, or god. The chamber shifts as Storm's projection brightens, her calm voice cutting through Doom's arrogance like a bolt of distant thunder. She warns him not to mistake his armor for invulnerability, and not to mistake her serenity for weakness. Black Panther raises a hand, bringing the council back to order. Doom has chosen his path. Now the fate of the world, mutant and human alike, depends on what the rest decide. The chamber shifts as Storm's projection brightens, her calm voice cutting through Doom's arrogance like a bolt of distant thunder. She warns him not to mistake his armor for invulnerability, and not to mistake her serenity for weakness. Black Panther raises a hand, bringing the council back to order. Doom has chosen his path. Now the fate of the world, mutant and human alike, depends on what the rest decide. Elsewhere, the blazing sun of Cairo bleeds across the ancient stones as the pyramids rise again, this time under mutant rule. Massive blocks are lifted not by slaves or scaffolds, but by winged mutants and towering enforcers carving a new empire in Apocalypse's image. It is a return to ancient power, rebuilt with modern brutality. At the heart of the reconstruction, Apocalypse lounges like a king resurrected, overseeing the rebirth of a civilization he once ruled. He hears a voice asking how the construction going. Magneto speaks plainly. Apocalypse has always wanted to expand his dominion beyond North Africa. Now Magneto offers him the opportunity. A sanctioned campaign, a chance to move his empire outward under the guise of restoring order. The target is simple. A human, one whose existence challenges Magneto's authority and threatens his loyalty. Apocalypse's interest stirs, but he is given one command. The woman, Aurora, must remain untouched, at least for now. Magneto wants her loyalty broken slowly, by pressure, not by force. Magneto instructs Apocalypse to handle the human instead, a task the ancient tyrant accepts with ease. As the envoy departs, another advisor steps from shadows. His warning is cold. Apocalypse plots against him, but Magneto's man is unfazed. Apocalypse's ambition is predictable. His pride is expected. And for the moment, the mutant warlord is a perfect weapon, useful, destructive, and unaware he is being played. As Magneto departs, Quicksilver steps from the shadows. His warning is cold. Apocalypse plot against them, but Magneto is unfazed. Apocalypse's ambition is predictable. His pride is expected. One day Magneto promises to put Apocalypse down for good. But for the moment, the mutant warlord is a perfect weapon, useful, destructive, and unaware he is being played. Aboard one of Apocalypse's warships, his pilot informs him that they will arrive in Wakanda in 15 minutes. As Apocalypse remains seated in his command chair, he tells his crew to be alert for any potential threats. The craft flies through the African airspace. At first the skies were calm and clear, but then out of nowhere heavy dark clouds began to form. The pilot asks Apocalypse if this was a threat that he warned them about. Wind detonates around the aircraft, tearing through the calm with the force of a hurricane. Lightning lashes across the fuselage, frying circuits, ripping through the electrical systems. The ship shudders and dips violently as alarms scream through the cabin. Darkness forms beneath them, a spiraling, monstrous cyclone pulling the entire aircraft downward. And at the eye of the storm stands its creator. Aurora rises through the vortex, cloak whipping behind her, hair electrified in the raging winds as she commands a tempest with the precision of a goddess. Her silhouette is calm in the chaos, a warning call from thunder itself. The forces of Apocalypse came expecting a nation to conquer. Instead, they found the wrath of the storm. Wind detonates around the aircraft, tearing through the calm with the force of a hurricane. Lightning lashes across the fuselage, frying circuits, ripping through the electrical systems. The ship shudders and dips violently as alarms scream through the cabin. Darkness forms beneath them, a spiraling, monstrous cyclone pulling the entire aircraft downward. And at the eye of the storm stands its creator. Aurora rises through the vortex, cloak whipping behind her, hair electrified in the raging winds as she commands a tempest with the precision of a goddess. Her silhouette is calm in the chaos, a warning call from thunder itself. The forces of Apocalypse came expecting a nation to conquer. Instead, they found the wrath of the storm. Inside, panic takes over. Soldiers claw toward the flooding ceiling as they struggle for breath. The cabin tilts, drowning in darkness, while the last pockets of air bubble upward like escaping souls. But the ocean is not theirs to die in. Then the hull of the ship was torn apart, but not by the pressure of the sea, but by the amazing strength of Namor, king of Atlantis. He calls the crew of the ship as lapdogs for men without honor and calls out his battle cry. Imperius Rex. Apocalypse lunges, far faster than before, smashing into Namor with brutal force. The water explodes around them, twisting with shockwaves as the two titans collide in their new battleground, one born of the ocean, the other refusing to drown in it, with the sea at his command. Namor has the upper hand. He knocks Apocalypse upwards toward the surface. Namor swims beside Apocalypse, taunting him by asking if he's drowned yet, as Namor claims that he has more frustration to unleash. Then Apocalypse awakens, punching Namor in the face, telling the Sea King to shut up. Namor noticed that Apocalypse had used his powers to grow gills to help him breathe underwater. Apocalypse's punch was so powerful it sent Namor flying out of the water and into the sky. While in midair, Namor was suddenly encased in ice. A voice screams out saying, "Freeze Namor." It was revealed that Iceman is a member of Apocalypse's faction. He mocks Namor by stating that Prince Tuna is on ice. Seconds later, Iceman is attacked by Storm from above. As she attacks with wind and rain, Iceman was able to counter with his Ice Blast attack. Since Iceman and Storm's battle was a stalemate, Iceman didn't realize that another ally of Black Panther's arrived on the scene. It was Emperor Sunfire. He blasted Iceman with a powerful fire blast, killing me on the spot. Storm sweeps through the chaos with regal precision, her cloak snapping like a banner in hurricane winds. She controls a battlefield the way a conductor controls an orchestra. Every gust, every spark, every shift in the sky answering to her will. With a gesture, she directs Sunfire to finish with Iceman and recover Namor from a frozen wreckage left behind. Across the field, two figures lurk at the edge of the conflict. Iceman's teammates, caught between fear and obligation. Nightcrawler urges Angel to strike against Storm while he attacks Sunfire. But Angel calls Nightcrawler crazy as both Storm and Sunfire were out of their weight class in terms of powers. He came up with the idea to wait for Apocalypse to resurface and make his move. Nightcrawler questions Angel's reason for volunteer for the mission. Angel responds stating that he was having PR problems, claiming that a girl has a videotape of him and her. But he also mentions that he wants to be a hero and not a dead hero. Meanwhile, Apocalypse returns. As he approaches Black Panther's palace, he is attacked by Panther's guards. The bullets have no effect on him as he slowly walks towards the main doors. The guards calls out for the people to evacuate. Apocalypse reaches the throne room. As he opens the large doors, he spots his target. The Black Panther is seen sitting on his throne. Apocalypse charges at him, but Black Panther jumped out of the way and ran down a corridor. Apocalypse rips open a door, calling out for Black Panther to come out of hiding. When Apocalypse was moving the remains of the door, he stands in horror at the first thing he saw. A crackle of unnatural lightning cuts through the shadows. Black Bolt, the king of the Inhumans, steps forward. No movement wasted, no expression given. His very silence radiates more threat than any weapon in Wakanda's arsenal. Blue energy flickers around the tuning fork on his forehead, humming with restrained destruction. The intruder freezes, terror finally overpowering bravado. As Black Bolt opens his mouth, not a word is mentioned, not a word could be heard. Only the small whisper was just enough to use against Apocalypse. The aftermath was devastating. Black Bolt's power destroyed most of Black Panther's castle and most of his kingdom. But the threat from Apocalypse was now gone. Behind Black Bolt, a chest opens to reveal Black Panther. He was able to protect himself from Black Bolt's powerful scream, as the chest was constructed from vibranium. Black Panther informs Black Bolt that there will be a lot of rebuilding in the near future. But he thanks Black Bolt because without him there wouldn't be a kingdom for Black Panther to rule. Black Panther places his hand on Black Bolt's shoulder, showing his respect and how grateful he was for his fellow king. He asked him how did it feel to speak, even if it was just a syllable. Behind them, Namor, Storm, and Sunfire arrive, flying toward their allies. However, not everyone was happy with the turnout. Magneto stares at the setting sun, with anger in his eyes and expression on his face. He mutters aloud to Quicksilver, "Don't say I told you so," to which Quicksilver, while holding back a smile, can only say to his father, "I didn't say anything." And that was the story of Black Panther from the House of M, in a world where mutants rule. Even a king can face problems. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button for more contents. If there's any character from Marvel or DC that you'd like to see next, feel free to leave a comment. See you next time on Pages of the Multiverse.